Good evening, councillors. I declare the special council meeting open at 6 p.m. Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting today is being held on Whadjuk Noongar Boodja, and I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders past, present and future. I thank all past and present members of the community that have supported the city to better understand and value Noongar culture within the city of Wanneroo, and I invite you to bow your heads in prayer. Lord, we thank you for blessing our city, our community and our council. Guide us all in our decision-making to act fairly, without fear or favour, and with compassion, integrity, wisdom and honesty. May we show true leadership, be inclusive of all and guide all of the city's people and many families to a prosperous future that all may share. We ask this in your name. Amen. Please note that the audio-visual proceedings of tonight's meeting will be live broadcast online, with the exception of matters discussed behind closed doors. The broadcast of the proceedings of the meeting can be accessed live and on demand through the City of Wanneroo YouTube channel. Item 1, attendances as per the record. Item 2, apologies and leave of absence. There is none. Item 3, public question time. There is no public here to ask questions. And announcement and declarations. Councillors' declarations of interest by council members, including the nature and extent of which the interests are to be made at the commencement of the item to which the interest relates. Declarations of interest forms are to be completed and handed to the Chief Executive Officer. Okay, welcome to all the new councillors and re-elected councillors this evening, and we have a new team tonight, so this is really exciting evening. And I go to item 4, reports, SCS 01-1123, election of the Deputy Mayor, and I now request that the Acting CEO facilitate the election of the Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Ms Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor. Schedule 2.3, Division 2 of the Local Government Act 1995 requires that the first item of business at the meeting of the first council meeting following the local government election is to be the election of the Deputy Mayor. The procedure has been circulated to all council members and is published in the current council meeting agendas. First of all, I'd like to mention that Vicky Coles will be the scrutineer for this election, and our returning officer will be Kelly Dancy. Kelly, would you please come forward to conduct the election?
Good evening. My name is Kelly Dancy, for those of you that don't know me, and I will be the returning officer for the election of the Deputy Mayor of the City of Wanneroo. The election will be conducted in accordance with the requirements of legislation and relevant procedure, in accordance with Schedule 2.3, Division B, Part A, Subsection 3 of the Local Government Act 1995. I advise that the following nominations have been received: from Councillor James Rowe and from Councillor Paul Miles. The time for nominations for election to office of the Deputy Mayor is about to close. Are there any further nominations? I now declare that nominations are closed. At the close of nominations, the nominees are, as previously stated, Councillor James Rowe and Councillor Paul Miles. As more than one nomination has been received for the office of Deputy Mayor, a secret ballot will now be conducted in accordance with Schedule 2.3 of the Local Government Act 1995. The voting method is optional preferential voting. As we have two candidates, electors are to write the number 1 in the square next to the name of the candidate you want to vote for. Do not make any other marks on the ballot paper. All electors must vote in this election. I will now determine the order that names will appear on the ballot paper by drawing each candidate's name from the ballot box. Ballot papers will then be drawn up, authenticated by me and then distributed. Electors can either use the ballot booth provided at the back or can complete ballot papers at their desk. All ballot papers are to be placed in the ballot box. I will then open the ballot box and count the votes. As Returning Officer for the election of Deputy Mayor, in accordance with Section 11F of the Local Government Constitution Regulations 1998, I declare that for the candidates nominated, the votes received were as follows. Councillor Paul Miles, 7 votes. Councillor James Rowe, 8 votes. Therefore, I declare that Councillor James Rowe is the successful candidate with 8 votes received in favour of appointment and is therefore elected to the office of Deputy Mayor for a 2-year term ending at the start of the first meeting following the next ordinary local government election. Congratulations, James.
I will now officiate the swearing-in of Deputy Mayor of the City of Wanneroo in accordance with Section 2.29 of the Local Government Act 1995, and I invite Councillor James Rowe to come forward to participate in the declaration process. We now move on to SC 02-1123, appointment of delegates and deputy delegates to internal and external committees. And I, as the presiding person, according to 5.32 of the standing orders, I move that as this is a complex motion, that we vote on each committee individually as we work through it. Each section individually as we work through it, just to make it a bit easier. And I now request that the Acting Director, Corporate Strategy and Performance, Natasha Smart, facilitate the appointment of nominees. Thank you. Could I please have a mover and seconder for part 1 pursuant to Regulation 26 of the Planning and Development Assessment Panels Regulations 2011 nominates the following council members to the Metro Outer Joint Development Assessment Panel, JDAP, to take effect from the 27th of January 2024 to the 26th of January 2026, and advises the Minister for Planning, Lands, Housing and Homelessness, the Honourable John Carey. Do I have a mover for this? Yes, Councillor Parker, seconder. Councillor Berry. Okay, Ms Smart.
Thank you, Mayor. All council members have been provided a guide for selection of nominees. Selection of nominees will occur only when there are more nominees than the required number of vacancies for delegates or deputy delegates. The electronic voting pad will be used to determine the selection of preferred nominees. The names of all nominees received will be read aloud. Council members are asked to choose who will be your preferred nominees. Please choose the number of preferred nominees to match the number of vacancies. It's encouraged to note this down before the selection process opens. When the selection process does open, select yes only for your preferred nominees. Do not select no on your voting pad. The administration will then tally the results and provide the details as we go along. Selection will continue until all vacancies on the committees and groups have been completed. Once the names have been completed, the resolution vote will be put forward for each part in its component. I will now move to the nominees for the Metro Outer Joint Development Assessment Panel. The nominees received are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Smith. As there are 2 delegate positions and we have received 4 nominees, you will be asked to select 2 of the nominees. Please note down your selection.
I'd like to nominate myself for the JDAP panel as well, please.
We have a nomination from the floor for Councillor Nguyen. Are there any other nominations?
Sorry, I put myself up there as a deputy.
Okay. Councillor Coetzee has advised that she has nominated as a deputy, so her nominee has been removed from the position of delegate. Are there any more nominees? We have received 4 nominees for the positions available, which is 2. Please select your 2 preferred nominees. The first nominee to be put forward is Councillor Herridge. Please select yes on your voting pad if Councillor Herridge is one of your preferred nominees. Councillor Herridge has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Huntley. Please select yes if Councillor Huntley is one of your preferred nominees.
Sorry, is this just for the 2 local members?
Yes, it is. Okay. Councillor Huntley has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee put forward is Councillor Nguyen.
Councillor Smith.
Councillor Nguyen has received 6 endorsements. The next nominee put forward is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith has received 8 endorsements. We have a three-way tie on the nominees, being Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Smith, all who received 8 endorsements. We will just put those names forward. Please make your selection for 2 of these 3 nominees. The first nominee put forward is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 9 endorsements. The second nominee put forward is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 8 endorsements. The next councillor put forward is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith received 10 endorsements. We had 3 people who abstained from the voting process. I will put forward the 3 nominees again. The 3 nominees are Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Smith. We are selecting 2 of those 3. Please note down your preferred 2 and then cast your vote for those nominees. The first nominee put forward is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 9 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith received 12 endorsements. Councillor Smith received 12, Councillor Herridge received 9, Councillor Huntley received 8, which made a total of 29 endorsements out of the required 30. Councillor Smith has been put forward as a delegate. We will now select from Councillor Herridge and Councillor Huntley. The first nominee is Councillor Herridge. Please only select one of the 2 nominees. Councillor Herridge has received 7 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Huntley. Did everybody select one of the nominees? Because that's a tie of 14. Oh, 8, sorry. So Councillor Huntley has received a total of 8 endorsements, which makes her the second delegate to the JDAP. We have received deputy delegates for the JDAP. The deputy delegates that we have received is Councillor Coetzee and Councillor Seif. Are there any further nominees? And Councillor Herridge, sorry. Any? And Councillor Nguyen. We have 4 nominees for 2 deputy delegate positions. Those nominees were Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Nguyen and Councillor Seif. Please select 2 of the nominees and cast your votes in favour of just those 2 nominees. The first nominee is Councillor Coetzee. Councillor Coetzee has received 9 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 8 endorsements.
Hasn't come up, it's only just come up.
Councillor Nguyen has received 5 endorsements. And the next nominee is Councillor Seif. Thank you. The selection for first nominee deputy delegate is Councillor Coetzee. There has been a tie with Councillor Herridge and Councillor Seif. We will now select just from those 2 nominees. Please only cast your vote in favour of one of the nominees. The first nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has 12 endorsements. That means Councillor Herridge has been selected as the second deputy delegate. We will now put those names into that part 1 of the resolution, and the resolution will be considered by council.
Councillors, I've just been advised we have to vote for the deputy delegates again. So Ms Smart will redo the vote for the deputy delegates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and apologies for that. By way of explanation, the calculation ended up being more than the required votes, and the difference would have made a change to the actual number of people, the people who would have been selected as deputy delegate. So apologies for that. We'll put those names forward again, and we'll start from the beginning with the 4 nominees that we have received. I'll read those names aloud. The 4 nominees we have received for 2 deputy delegate positions are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Nguyen and Councillor Seif. You are asked to select 2 out of the 4 and cast your vote in favour only. The first nominee is Councillor Coetzee. Councillor Coetzee has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 5 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Seif. Okay. So we've received a total of 29 endorsements. However, the 3 remaining councillors, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge and Councillor Seif, out of those 29 have received 8 endorsements each. So you are asked to select 2 of those nominees. The first nominee is Councillor Coetzee. Councillor Coetzee has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 11 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Seif. Councillor Coetzee received 7 endorsements. Councillor Herridge received 11 endorsements. Councillor Seif received 8 endorsements with a total of 26.
Councillor Seif. Councillor Coetzee received 8.
Councillor Coetzee has received 8 endorsements. Councillor Herridge has received 11 endorsements and Councillor Seif has received 9 endorsements, which means Councillor Herridge has been selected as a deputy delegate. The 2 remaining councillors are Councillor Coetzee and Councillor Seif. Please select just one of these nominees and cast your vote in favour. The first nominee is Councillor Coetzee. Councillor Coetzee has received 9 endorsements, which means Councillor Coetzee is selected as the second deputy delegate to the JDAP. We will now include those names in the resolution and put part 1 forward for Council's consideration.
So the recommendation for part 1 is that Council, pursuant to Regulation 26 of the Planning and Development Assessment Panels, Regulations 2011, nominates Councillor Smith and Councillor Huntley to the following council or these council members to the Metro Outer Joint Development Development Panel, JDAP, to take effect from the 27th of January 2024 and the 26th of January 2026. And the two deputy local members will be Councillor Herridge and Councillor Coetzee, and we will advise the Minister for Planning, Lands, Housing and Homelessness, the Honourable John Carey, MLA. This has been moved by Councillor Parker and seconded by Councillor Berry. And I think we just cast our vote. Thank you. And that was passed unanimously. We go on to item 2, which will be 3 external committees. First of all is item 2A, and we need a mover and seconder for item 2A. Moved Deputy...
The whole of item 2.
Yeah, the whole of item 2. Deputy Mayor Rowe and Councillor Berry seconds it. And we will go to 2A, and Ms Smart, will you take care of that?
Thank you, Mayor. I have been asked to relay some information from the Mindarie Regional Council in regards to consideration for delegates tonight. A special council of the Mindarie Regional Council is proposed to be held on the 9th of November, commencing at 6:30 p.m. That will be the first meeting following the appointment of delegates to MRC. We will now have a look at the nominees that we have received. The nominees received so far for Mindarie Regional Council are for 2 delegate positions. The nominees are Councillor Miles, Councillor Seif, Councillor Smith and Councillor Wright. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Nguyen. And Councillor Smith?
I would like to withdraw as the meetings are on the same nights as the Walga meetings, and I'm happy to support the others. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Smith has withdrawn her nomination. Any further nominations? We have received 4 nominations for 2 delegate positions. Please make a note of the 2 nominees that you would like to support for appointment and cast your votes only 2 in favour. The first nominee is Councillor Miles. Councillor Miles has received 14 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 1 endorsement. The next nominee is Councillor Seif. Sorry, 2 nominees endorsed for Councillor Nguyen. The next nominee is Councillor Seif. Councillor Seif has received 3 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Wright. Councillor Wright has received 11 endorsements. Councillor Miles and Councillor Wright have been endorsed as the delegates to MRC. We will now move on to Catalina Regional Council. There are 2 delegate positions and 2 deputy delegate positions for Catalina Regional Council. The delegate positions nominations that we have received are Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee and Councillor Parker. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Herridge and Councillor Nguyen. We have received 6 nominees for 2 delegate positions. Please make a note of the 2 nominees that you would like to support and cast your votes in favour of just those 2. The first nominee is Councillor Bedworth. Councillor Bedworth has received 2 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Berry. Councillor Berry has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Coetzee. Councillor Coetzee has received 7 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 5 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 2 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 6 endorsements. The 2 nominees with the highest endorsements were Councillor Berry with 8 and Councillor Coetzee with 7. We'll now move on to the deputy delegates. There are 2 deputy delegate positions. The nominees we have received for deputy delegate are Councillor Bedworth. Are there any further nominees? There is another available position for deputy delegate. Councillor Nguyen? Are there any further nominees? No, then we have received 2 nominees for 2 deputy delegate positions, being Councillor Bedworth and Councillor Nguyen. We'll now move on to the West Australian Local Government Association North Metropolitan Zone. There are 4 delegate positions and 4 deputy delegate positions for Walga. The nominees that we have received for delegates so far are Councillor Huntley, Councillor Parker, Councillor Seif and Councillor Smith. Are there any further nominees? Councillor Rowe? Councillor Nguyen?
Can I withdraw?
Councillor Seif has withdrawn her nomination. We have received more nominations than there are positions. The nominations we have received are from Councillor Huntley, Councillor Nguyen, Councillor Parker, Councillor Rowe and Councillor Smith. Please note down the 4 nominees you wish to support. The first nominee is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 11 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Rowe. Councillor Rowe has received 13 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith has received 10 endorsements. We've received 50 endorsements out of a total of 60. Unfortunately, with the missing 10 endorsements, it would alter the results of the appointments to Walga. Councillors, I'll read the nominees aloud. Please select 4 of those nominees and cast your vote 4 times in favour. The nominees that we have are Councillor Huntley, Councillor Nguyen, Councillor Parker, Councillor Rowe and Councillor Smith. You are asked to vote 4 times for your 4 preferred nominees. I'll now put the names forward. The first nominee is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 12 nominations. Endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 11 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 11 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Rowe. Councillor Rowe has received 13 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. As a result, we've received 59 endorsements. The top 3 delegates have received Councillor Rowe 13, Councillor Huntley 12 and Councillor Smith 12. There is 1 remaining position and 2 nominees being Councillor Nguyen or Councillor Parker. Please note down your preferred nominee and cast your vote in favour of 1 of those nominees. The first nominee put forward is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen received 8 endorsements. This means that Councillor Nguyen is selected as the 4th delegate to Walga. We'll now move on to the deputy delegates for Walga. There are 4 positions available. The nominees that we have received so far are Councillor Figg, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright. Are there any further nominations for deputy delegate to Walga? Councillor Herridge. As there have been 4 nominations, the 4 councillors nominated as deputy delegates are Councillor Figg, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright. That concludes part 2 of our resolution. The names will be added into that part and will be put forward for Council's consideration.
So moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Councillor Berry. Item 2 appoints the following council members to external councils as per their terms of reference. A. Mindari Regional Council, Councillor Miles and Councillor Wright. B. Catalina Regional Council. The 2 delegates are Councillor Berry and Councillor Coetzee. The 2 deputy delegates are Councillor Bedworth and Councillor Newen. C. Appoints the following members to the Western Australian Local Government Association, Walga North Metropolitan Zone, in brackets NMZ, as per their terms of reference. The 4 delegates are Councillor Rowe, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Smith and Councillor Newen, and the 4 deputy delegates are Councillor Figg, Councillor Seif, Councillor Wright and Councillor Herridge. Councillors, cast your vote. And that is passed unanimously. We now go on to item 3, and Miss, can it carry on? Oh, can I have a mover and seconder for item 3 first, please? Councillor Wright, seconder, Councillor Herridge. Smart, would you go ahead, please?
Madam Mayor, may I ask for audit and risk and revenue review, if we can make that the same as the service review, that all councillors are appointed to that to save us the voting, and then those that don't need to attend don't have to if they don't want to.
Councillor Wright, Ms Jennings will talk about the terms of reference.
Thank you, Mayor. The terms of reference actually allows for all council members to be on the committee, so it's just a matter of whether everyone wants to be. So it is possible already.
Thank you, Acting CEO and Mayor. In regards to audit and risk, it does allow for up to 15 members to be appointed. The appointment is to be by absolute majority decision to all of the committees listed in Part 3 of our resolution tonight. The nominees that we have received so far for Audit and Risk Committee are Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Moore, Councillor Parker, Councillor Rowe, Councillor Seif, Councillor Smith and Councillor Wright. Are there any further councillors or elected members who would like to nominate for Audit and Risk Committee? Councillor Miles.
Yes, I'd like to be on the audit.
Councillor Berry.
Yes, please.
Yes, I'll be on that one, seeing it says Mayor at the top. Yeah, Linda Aitken, thank you. It says Mayor at the top.
Councillor Newen. That's all our elected members appointed to the Audit and Risk Committee. The next committee is the Bushfire Advisory Committee. There is 1 position for delegate and 1 position for deputy delegate. For delegate, the nominees we have received are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Seif. As we have 1 position, please consider your preferred nominee and cast your vote in favour once. Sorry, Councillor Figg.
I'd like to withdraw my nomination, please.
Councillor Figg has withdrawn his nomination. Are there any further nominations or withdrawal nominations? No. Our remaining nominees are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Seif.
Sorry, I would like to withdraw as well.
Thank you. Councillor Coetzee has withdrawn her nomination. Councillor Huntley and Councillor Seif. As there is 1 position, please select your preferred nominee and cast your vote in favour. The first nominee is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 3 endorsements, which means that Councillor Seif is nominated as the delegate for the Bushfire Advisory Committee. There is 1 position for Deputy Delegate on the Bushfire Advisory Committee. We have not received any nominations for that as yet. Councillor Huntley, are there any further nominations? Then Councillor Huntley is selected as the preferred Deputy Delegate for the Bushfire Advisory Committee. The next committee is the Festival and Cultural Events Committee. There are 3 delegate positions and 3 deputy delegate positions. The Mayor is appointed to the committee as per the terms of reference. The delegate positions, we have received nominees for Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. Are there any further nominees? Councillor Berry? Councillor Miles? There are 3 positions for delegates on this committee. I will read the and Councillor Nguyen. So there are 3 positions for delegates on this committee. I will read the nominees aloud again. Please note down your preferred 3 to cast your vote in favour. The nominees that are available are Councillor Berry, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Miles, Councillor Nguyen, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. Please only select 3. The first nominee is Councillor Berry. Councillor Berry has received 9 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 4 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Councillor Miles. Councillor Miles has received 9 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Nguyen. Councillor Nguyen has received 2 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 7 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith has received 8 endorsements. We received 47 endorsements. However, with the votes received, the remaining nominees are Councillor Berry, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Miles, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. There are 3 positions to choose from. I'll read them again. You're selecting 3 of the nominees that I read aloud. The nominees available to select from are Councillor Berry, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Miles, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. Please note down the 3 preferred options and I will now put the nominees. The first nominee is Councillor Berry. Councillor Berry received 9 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge received 10 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Miles. Councillor Miles has received 8 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 7 endorsements, and the next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith has received 10 endorsements. Thank you. We were short of the required nominations, however, it will not alter the result. The result is that Councillor Herridge, Councillor Smith and Councillor Berry are selected as the delegates to the Festival and Cultural Events Committee. It's just been brought to my attention that the one missing vote would make a difference between Councillor Miles and Councillor Berry.
I'm happy to withdraw at this stage, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Miles. Councillor Miles has withdrawn his nomination. The 3 delegates were Councillor Berry, Councillor Herridge and Councillor Smith. We also have 3 deputy delegate positions for this committee. At this point in time, we have received no nominations. Are there any nominations for deputy delegates? Councillor Seif? Councillor Figg? And Councillor Rowe, thank you. The 3 deputy delegate positions are Councillor Figg, Councillor Rowe and Councillor Seif. We have one more committee for appointment. It is the Revenue Review Committee. It allows up to 15 council members. The council members so far that we have received nominations for are Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Figg, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Moore, Councillor Parker, Councillor Rowe, Councillor Seif, Councillor Smith and Councillor Wright. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Miles? Sorry, the Mayor is on the Revenue Review Committee. Thank you. Councillor Berry? Councillor Huntley?
Is that 15?
No. Are there any further nominees to be on the Revenue Review Committee?
Remembering all councillors are allowed to participate on this.
Councillor Coetzee? That gives us 14 council members on the Revenue Review Committee. We have one more committee, which is the Waste Management Advisory Committee. The Mayor is on the Waste Management Advisory Committee, as is the 2 Mindarie Regional Council delegates previously resolved. Therefore, we have one position available on the Waste Management Advisory Committee. Thank you. The nominees we've received for that one position is Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge. Are there any further nominees for the Waste Management Committee? If that's the case, please note down your preferred nominee and cast your vote in favour one time. The 2 nominees were Councillor Coetzee and Councillor Herridge. The first nominee to be considered is Councillor Coetzee. Councillor Coetzee has received 8 endorsements, which means she is selected as the delegate to the Waste Management Advisory Committee. That concludes part 3 of our resolution. Those names will be put into that part and put forward for Council's consideration.
So this has to be approved by absolute majority. The following council members of the City of Wanneroo committees as per their terms of reference. This motion was moved by Councillor Wright, seconded by Councillor Herridge. For the Audit and Risk Committee, every councillor is on the Audit and Risk Committee. For the Bushfire Advisory Committee, Councillor Seif is the delegate for that, with Councillor Huntley being the deputy delegate. For the Festival and Cultural Events Committee, that consists of myself, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Smith and Councillor Berry, and the 3 deputy delegates are Councillor Figg, Councillor Rowe and Councillor Seif. For the Revenue Review Committee, all of the councillors are on this except for Councillor Nguyen. And for the Waste Management Advisory Committee, the Mayor is on that committee, which is myself, and Councillor Miles, Councillor Wright and Councillor Coetzee. Councillors, please cast your vote. And that was passed unanimously. We now go to item 4, which is appointing the council members to the City of Wanneroo advisory groups as per their terms of reference. Do I have a mover and a seconder for this? Moved Councillor Seif, seconded Councillor Berry. Ms Smart, would you like to progress with this, please?
Thank you, Mayor. There are a number of groups to be considered for delegate and deputy delegate positions this evening. The first one is the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Community Reference Group. There are 3 delegate positions for this group. The nominees that we have received for this group are the Mayor, Councillor Berry, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Parker, Councillor Rowe, Councillor Seif and Councillor Smith. There are 3 positions to consider. Councillor Berry?
I didn't nominate for this one and I've just checked on my form, sorry.
Sorry, you
so
did?
Can I withdraw? No, I didn't nominate for it, so I'm not quite sure why you've called me out. No, I didn't nominate for it now.
Okay. Councillor Berry, sorry about that. We'll withdraw your nomination. Are there any further nominations for this group?
Could you read the names again, please?
All right, so there are 3 positions. Please select from the following 3. I will read all the names again. Mayor Aitken, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Parker, Councillor Rowe, Councillor Seif, and Councillor Smith. Please cast 3 votes for your preferred nominees. The first is Mayor Aitken. The Mayor has received 4 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 13 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 3 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Rowe. Councillor Rowe has received 10 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Seif. Councillor Seif has received 9 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith has received 6 endorsements. Okay. Yep. The nominees with the highest number of endorsements are Councillor Herridge with 13, Councillor Rowe with 10, and Councillor Seif with 9. The next group to be considered is the Alkimos Aquatic and Recreation Centre Project Working Group. The Mayor is on this working group, and there are 3 delegate positions, up to 7 delegate positions. The nominees we have received so far are Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Parker, and Councillor Rowe. Are there any further nominees? Councillor Miles and Councillor Berry. 6, 7. Are there any further nominees? We've received 7 nominees for 7 delegate positions. The nominees are Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Miles, Councillor Parker, and Councillor Rowe. We'll now move on to the Arts Advisory Group. There are 2 delegate positions for the Arts Advisory Group. We have received the following nominations: from Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Parker, and Councillor Smith. Are there any further nominations for the Arts Advisory Group? There are 2 positions, and we have received 3 nominations. Please consider your preferred 2 nominees and cast your votes in favour. The first nominee is Councillor Bedworth. Councillor Bedworth has received 10 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker has received 7 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith has received 13 endorsements, which means that Councillor Bedworth and Councillor Smith are nominated to the Arts Advisory Group. The next group is the Business and Tourism Advisory Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and there are 3 delegate positions. The nominees we have received so far are Councillor Huntley, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright. Are there any further nominations? In that case, the Mayor, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright are nominated to the Business and Tourism Advisory Group. The next group for consideration is the Community Safety Working Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and there are 3 delegate positions and 3 deputy delegate positions.
If it's okay, I'd like to move a motion to expand that for all councillors that wish to be on that group. My seconder is Councillor Parker, if you need a seconder.
Okay, the motion is accepted. Councillors, could you please cast your vote to allow all councillors to be on the Environmental Advisory Group? The Community Safety Working Group, sorry. Councillor Berry seconded it. And that is passed unanimously, so therefore on the Community Safety Working Group, that now consists of all councillors. If they choose to be.
Yep. So I'll read aloud the names of the nominations we have received so far, noting that the terms of reference for the Community Safety Working Group have been amended to allow for up to all 15 council members. The Mayor is a member of this group. The nominations received are Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Moore, Councillor Rowe, Councillor Seif, Councillor Smith and Councillor Wright. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Miles? Councillor Huntley? Councillor Parker? Councillor Figg? Councillor Bedworth? And that is 14 council members on the Community Safety Working Group.
Sorry, I don't know why I voted no. Does that mean we can remove the 3 deputy delegates now that the terms of reference has been changed?
Yes, that doesn't. If they choose.
The next group for consideration is the Environmental Advisory Group. There are 3 delegate positions available for the Environmental Advisory Group. The nominations we have received are from Councillor Herridge and Councillor Huntley. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Miles?
Councillor Collins.
For the 3 delegate positions, the nominees are Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Miles. We'll move on to the Heritage Services Advisory Group. There are 3 delegate positions for the Heritage Services Advisory Group. The nominees we have received are from Councillor Huntley. Are there any further nominees? Councillor Figg. Councillor Miles. And that completes the 3 delegate positions, being Councillor Figg, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Miles. We then move on to the Multicultural Advisory Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and there are 3 delegate positions. The nominees we have received for the Multicultural Advisory Group are from Councillor Seif. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Rowe. Councillor Parker. Councillor Berry. Councillor Rowe has withdrawn his nomination. That leaves us with 3 nominees for 3 delegate positions. They are Councillor Berry, Councillor Parker and Councillor Seif. We'll move on to the Nearabub Industrial Area Development Working Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and the Audit and Risk Chairperson, to be confirmed, will also be on this group. This group allows for up to 6 delegates. The nominees we have received are from Councillor Berry, Councillor Miles, Councillor Moore, Councillor Rowe and Councillor Seif. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Huntley. Councillor Wright. Councillor Nguyen. We've received 8 nominees for 6 delegate positions. Councillor Huntley has withdrawn. Councillor Nguyen has withdrawn. That leaves us with 6 delegates for the Nearabub Industrial Area Working Group, being Councillor Berry, Councillor Miles, Councillor Moore, Councillor Rowe, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright. The next group for consideration is the Queens Beach Coastal Management Advisory Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and it allows for up to 5 delegates in its terms of reference. The nominees we have received are from Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. Are there any further nominees? There being 5 nominees for 5 delegate positions, Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith are the nominated delegates. We'll move on to the Queen's Rocks Caravan Park Redevelopment Working Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and there are up to 7 delegates and 2 deputy delegates. For the positions of delegates, we have received nominations from Councillor Berry, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Bedworth, we have 6 nominees for 7, Councillor Miles. Thank you. We have 7 nominees for 7 delegate positions. They are Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Miles, Councillor Parker and Councillor Smith. There is availability for 2 deputy delegates. Councillor Rowe, Councillor Huntley. Being the 2 deputy delegates, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Rowe. We'll move on to the Roadwise Advisory Group. The Roadwise Advisory Group provides for 3 delegates. The nominees we have received are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg and Councillor Herridge and Councillor Parker.
I would like to withdraw, please.
Councillor Coetzee has withdrawn her nomination. That leaves us with 3 nominations, being Councillor Figg, Councillor Herridge and Councillor Parker for the Roadwise Advisory Group. We'll move on to the Wanneroo Town Centre Advisory Working Group. The Mayor is a member of this group, and there are 4 delegate positions. The nominees we have received are Councillor Huntley and Councillor Wright. Thank you, Councillor Miles. And Councillor Moore. That provides us with 4 nominees for 4 delegate positions. They are Councillor Huntley, Councillor Miles, Councillor Moore and Councillor Wright. The next group for consideration is the Yanchep Lagoon Community Working Group. The Mayor is a member of this group and there are 5 delegate positions. The nominees we have received so far are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg. Are there any further nominees? Councillor Miles. Councillor Huntley. Councillor Seif. That provides us with 5 delegates, 5 nominees for 5 delegate positions. They were Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Miles and Councillor Seif. And that concludes part 4 of our resolution. Those names will be populated into that part and put to Council's consideration.
So item 4 appoints the following council members to the City of Wanneroo advisory groups as per their terms of reference. Was moved by Councillor Seif, seconded by Councillor Berry. For the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Community Reference Group, Ni Katagini Court, there are 3 delegates, Councillor Herridge, Deputy Mayor Rowe and Councillor Seif. For the Alkimos Aquatic and Recreation Centre Project Working Group, we have myself, Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Miles, Councillor Parker and Deputy Mayor Rowe. For the Arts Advisory Group, we have Councillor Bedworth and Councillor Smith. For the Business and Tourism Advisory Group, we have myself, we have Councillor Huntley, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright. For the Community Safety Working Group, all councillors are a member of this, except for Councillor Nguyen. For the Environmental Advisory Group, we have Councillor Herridge, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Miles. For the Heritage Services Advisory Group, we have Councillor Huntley, Councillor Figg and Councillor Miles. For the Multicultural Advisory Group, we have myself, Councillor Seif, Councillor Parker and Councillor Berry. For the Neerabup Industrial Area Working Group, we have myself and the Audit and Risk Chairperson, which is yet to be confirmed. We have Councillor Berry, Councillor Miles, Councillor Moore, Deputy Mayor Rowe, Councillor Seif and Councillor Wright. For the Queen's Beach Coastal Management Advisory Group, we have myself, Councillor Bedworth, Councillor Berry, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Parker, Councillor Smith. For the Queen's Rocks Caravan Park redevelopment, we have myself, Councillor Berry, Councillor Parker, Councillor Smith, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge, Councillor Bedworth and Councillor Miles, and the 2 deputy delegates are Deputy Mayor Rowe and Councillor Huntley. For the Roadwise Advisory Group, we have Councillor Figg, Councillor Herridge and Councillor Parker. For the Wanneroo Town Centre Advisory Group, we have myself, Councillor Huntley, Councillor Miles, Councillor Moore and Councillor Wright. For the Yanchep Lagoon Working Group, we have myself, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Figg, Councillor Miles, Councillor Huntley and Councillor Seif. And councillors, cast your vote. And that was passed unanimously. We now go to point 5, which is appoints the following council members to external committees, groups and boards as per their terms of reference. Do I have a mover and a seconder for this? Moved Councillor Seif, seconded Councillor Berry. Ms Smart, yes.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll start with the Alderbloom Community Care Centre's Board of Management. There is one position on this board. The nominees we have received are from Councillor Berry and Councillor Seif. Are there any further nominees? Please consider your preferred nominee and cast your vote in favour once. The first nominee is Councillor Berry. Councillor Berry received 9 endorsements and is therefore selected for the Alderbloom Community Care Centre Board of Management. The next group is the Joondalup Health Campus Community Board of Advice Committee. There is one position available for council members. The nominees we have received are Mayor Aitken, Councillor Berry, Councillor Moore and Councillor Smith. Are there any further nominations?
I withdraw my nomination, thank you.
Mayor Aitken has withdrawn her nomination. We have 3 nominees for 1 available position. The nominees remaining are Councillor Berry, Councillor Moore and Councillor Smith. Please consider one of the nominees and cast your vote in favour. The first nominee is Councillor Berry. Councillor Berry has received 4 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Moore. Councillor Moore has received 5 endorsements. The next nominee is Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith received 6 endorsements and is nominated to the Joondalup Health Campus Community Board of Advice Committee. The next consideration is the North West Regional Road subgroup. There is 1 position for delegate and 1 position for deputy delegate. For delegate, we have received the following nominees from Councillor Rowe. Are there any further nominees? Then Councillor Rowe is selected as the delegate for the North West Regional Road subgroup. We have received no nominees for deputy delegate. Are there any nominees? Councillor Figg. Thank you. The next group for consideration is the Wanneroo Agricultural Society. There is 1 delegate position and 1 deputy delegate position. For delegates, the nominees we have received are Councillor Huntley. Are there any further nominees? Then Councillor Huntley is nominated as the delegate for the Wanneroo Agricultural Society. There is 1 position of deputy delegate. We have received no nominees as yet. Councillor Wright. Thank you. The next group is the Wanneroo and Districts Historical Society. There is one delegate position and one deputy delegate position. There are no nominees received for either of these positions. Are there any nominees for delegate to the Wanneroo and Districts Historical Society? Councillor Seif. Thank you. Are there any nominations for deputy delegate to this group? Councillor Herridge. Thank you. We will move to the Wanneroo Joondalup Local Emergency Management Committee and North West District Emergency Management Committee. There is one delegate position available and one deputy delegate position. For delegate, the nominees we have received are Mayor Aitken, Councillor Huntley. Are there any further nominations? Please consider which of the nominees will be your preferred nominee and cast your vote in favour once. The first nominee to consider is Mayor Aitken. Mayor Aitken has received 9 endorsements, which means she is selected as the delegate to this group. There is a position for deputy delegate. Nominations have been received from Councillor Seif. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Huntley. We have 2 nominations for deputy delegate. They are Councillor Huntley and Councillor Seif. Please consider which nominee will be your preferred selection and cast your vote once in favour. The first nominee to consider is Councillor Huntley. Councillor Huntley has received 9 endorsements and is therefore selected as the deputy delegate to this group. The last group for consideration is the Yellowgonga Regional Park Community Advisory Committee. There is one delegate position available and one deputy delegate position. For delegate, the nominees we have received are Councillor Coetzee, Councillor Herridge and Councillor Huntley. Are there any further nominations?
I'll withdraw.
Councillor Coetzee has withdrawn her nomination. The 2 nominees for one position are Councillor Herridge or Councillor Huntley. Please consider who you will select and cast your vote in favour once. The first nominee to consider is Councillor Herridge. Councillor Herridge has received 9 endorsements and is therefore selected as delegate. There is one position for deputy delegate and we have not received any nominations so far. Are there any nominations for this deputy delegate role? Councillor Nguyen? No, that's fine. Thank you. Any nominations for deputy delegate? Councillor Rowe. Thank you, Councillor. That concludes part 5 of the resolution. The names will be populated and put to Council for consideration.
So I just want to ask the mover and seconder of item 5 if they're prepared to move and include item 6 in the moving and seconding, which is just notes that all appointments remain in effect until the next ordinary local government election day, being the 18th of October 2025, unless otherwise indicated. Are you happy to add that to that? Thank you so much. So, item 5 appoints the following council members to external committees, groups and boards as per their terms of reference, and item 6, which I'll read later, moved by Councillor Seff, seconded by Councillor Berry. A, Elder Bloom Community Care Board of Management. Councillor Berry is that delegate. Joondalup Health Campus Community Board of Advice Committee, 1 delegate, Councillor Smith. Northwest Regional Road Subgroup, 1 delegate, Deputy Mayor Rowe, and 1 deputy delegate, Councillor Figg. The Wanneroo Agricultural Society, 1 delegate, Councillor Huntley, and the deputy delegate, Councillor Wright. Wanneroo and Districts Historical Society, 1 delegate, Councillor Siff, and 1 deputy delegate, Councillor Herridge. The Wanneroo Joondalup Local Emergency Management Committee and Northwest District Emergency Management Committee, 1 delegate, Mayor Aitken, 1 deputy delegate, Councillor Huntley. Yellowgonga Regional Park Community Advisory Committee, 1 delegate, Councillor Herridge, 1 deputy delegate, Deputy Mayor Rowe, and item 6 notes that all appointments remain in effect until the next ordinary local government election day, being the 18th of October 2025, unless otherwise indicated. Councillors, please cast your vote. Yep. I said Councillor Seif. Yeah. Sorry. And that was passed unanimously. We now go to the last item on the agenda this evening, which is the determination of council meeting dates, item SCSO 3/11/23. Do I have a mover and seconder for this item? Moved Councillor Miles, seconded Councillor Herridge. Councillor Miles, would you like to speak on this item?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, the dates all look fairly innocuous and okay. We've had quite a few changes this year, so I do note administration have made it clear in the report that they have attempted to align all of our meetings so we don't have to do the changes like we had done this year. Other than that, I'm happy for the motion to be put forward.
Thank you, Councillor Myers. Councillor Herridge, would you like to speak to this item?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, any speakers against this item? If there are no speakers against this item, councillors, please cast your vote. And that was passed unanimously. Okay, item 6 to be tabled, there is nil. Item 7, the date of the next meeting. The next council members briefing session has been scheduled for 6 p.m. on Tuesday the 14th of November to be held at Council Chambers, Civic Centre, 23 Dundebar Road, Wanneroo. And I declare this special council meeting closed at 7:49.